Okay, I record this video to close trade Tuesday, 17th of June 2014. Hope you had a good day's trading today. Well, that's more like it. A little bit more volatility and range and volume coming through on Monday and Tuesday. Had about 1 million contracts traded on both days. Did about 10 points of range, and it was better. Last week was incredibly slow, but this week is turning out to be quite fun so far. But bizarrely, it's almost like a duplicate Monday and Tuesday, kind of Groundhog Day. We had exactly the same kind of pattern. This is the 4500 tip bar chart. This is the open on Monday, and this is the open on Tuesday. And so first thing in the morning went for a little bit of a rally and then kind of fell off. The blue professional bars kind of step in before 11 in the morning, and then we go and close, towards the highs at least, a little bit of strength into the afternoon. And then here on Tuesday, a little bit of a rally first thing in the morning, then we fall off before 11 a.m. into blue professional bars, and then rally into the close. Really kind of similar days. And bizarrely, both the trades I took on Monday and Tuesday were entering within a quarter point of each other. So kind of bizarre. I'm just going to show you just very quickly before talking through those two trades, because they're the same trade but different kind of setup. Just bigger picture, what are we doing? Just remember in the background, this is the 13,500 tip bar chart, which is my intermediate time frame tip bar chart, my higher time frames. That we've had a nice little pullback to end of trend with exhaustion pattern up here in the 1945 type region. So we had our exhaustion pattern, and we then went to make pullback to end of trend. We had a lot of weakness here with this exhaustion sell signal. This is a lot of people here getting out, taking profits, selling. So we've now come into pullback to end of trend on the downside. We haven't had exhaustion selling on the downside to bottom this thing. And the thing that I'm looking at on my charts is this is like a complex correction on the way up. So we make a trend move kind of down here, but then heading back up into this breakdown zone here where we really kind of fell apart under 1940. You can see support and resistance kind of holding each way. We're just breaking backwards and forwards. So for me, this is looking a little bit like a complex correction. So I'm just wondering, are we going to fall out of bed and go down and make that exhaustion pattern on the way down? Let's wait and see. With the equity markets kind of calling a significant drop has not been kind of the way to go over the last several months. Are the central banks going to step in and push it up again and again? Who knows? But that's what I'm looking at on my charts. We're kind of making this kind of complex correction. Interestingly, we're doing the same thing on bonds. But anyway, I'll be taking my trades as they set up. So let's just talk about those little setups for today and yesterday's trade, because they were at the same level, but as I said, the setup was a little bit different. So let me show you first of all, this is today's activity on the 1500 tip bar chart. First thing to say is we had a triple setup at the open. So we had cyclical support here on the 1500 tip bar chart, just going on the 500 tip bar chart, pull back to, it was a dirty end of trend, cyclical support here, and then on 45 we had cyclical support. So we had a lot of things kind of going on saying that level at 24.25 was really kind of critical. Yesterday we'd had exhaustion at exactly that same level, kind of down here. Blue professional bars kind of stepped in, so we're testing down here. The selling is really weak. You can see this little bullish divergence patterns right on the zero line. We flushed them out a little bit later and tested back into that level, but first thing in the morning, that's what we had going on. So we had blue professional bars pre the open, just setting up here a little amateur down bar, testing bar, and then we start to race away a little bit. Blue professional bar coming in on the retrace there, and we went through a lot of volatility. This thing took a lot of time to kind of just set itself up, testing down and down, and each time we tested down, you can see the little spikes. They were within a quarter point of each other, but it's amateur down bars. When you have a Rambo pattern like this, that means the amateurs are driving the breakout, so just be wary, and we go through a little bit usually of softness after that, and that's what we had. We had a little bit of softness, it weakened, and then bang, we bust up through this resistance line into a kind of trending move until we get exhaustion patterns. This first exhaustion is kind of getting the move going. This is kind of ending the move, and then we have a bearish divergence at the top. Blue professional bars kind of come in and we drop away. On the 500 tip bar chart, it was a nice pullback to dirty end of trend. So dirty end of trends are when the pullback level is violated. So it's not a clean punch down pullback to end of trend. It's a little bit strong going through that pullback level. So I'd call that a dirty end of trend. But then you can see here we've had exhaustion, Pre the open we had exhaustion clearing out the sellers. Next time around we kind of cleared out more sellers here. Then we put in bullish divergence and then two little flush patterns going through this whole sequence. This whole testing sequence into that 25-26 is kind of amateur down bars. We just can't kind of get this thing going, but we're flushing out, we're getting rid of all of those sellers, and then finally bang, we take off, and that's a blue professional bar jumping the creek, getting through that resistance there at that level. Bang, we race away into a little bit of an uptrend. So my trade was long 25.75 out at 29.75. Didn't bother moving my targets. I mean, there was more in this move. You could see it on the 1500 tip bar chart. There was more in this move up to 33s, and kind of blue professional bars kind of coming in there, but been so quiet over the last couple of weeks. I'm just gonna take 4 points and just be done for the day. So that was kind of nice. The trade the day before, so let me just back it off. So the trade before on the Monday, we had a lot of weakness on the Sunday night. So this was the open on the Sunday evening. We kind of sold off, and I think that was driven out of Asia and Europe. They sold off pretty hard. But the American market's going to do what it's going to do. It's not going to follow along. It's not going to tag along to the rest of the world. Most of the time, it kind of sets its own tune. And we had a beautiful little U-turn reversal here on the 1500 tip bar chart. So we had a flush pattern kind of going on here, and we had blue professional bar spiking down into support, and then they grabbed it quickly, U-turning that little sequence there, where, whoops, kind of, I think of this as resting buy orders on the way down as we're coming down through that move, and people are selling into that buying by the professionals, and then the professionals say, yep, we're going to jump on board and crank this thing up, and then they quickly jump on board and buy everything kind of remaining on the way up here. So that's what I call a little U-turn with professional bars just making that signal. We come back in into that blue professional bar, fraction into it, come nowhere clear near the low of that bar. Bang, we take off. This thing moved really quickly, so this was a really nice kind of just punch up into, I don't know how this ended up going, yeah, probably into, wasn't an exhaustion pattern here, but on the 4500 tip bar chart we hadn't cleared out all that cyclical energy on the way down, and that's why we went down and tested into exhaustion, selling, bullish divergence and Rambo patterns at the bottom here. But this one kind of moved away really quickly from that little U-turn, and there was a nice little 4-point move again. Long 25.50 this time, just a quarter point different from today's trade, out at 29.50. So had a nice couple of days. Glad that the range and the volume is kind of coming back in. I will tag on those two trades from today and yesterday, because I think they're educational. If you use the better indicators and you're kind of trying to get used to the patterns, particularly this setup with the blue professional bars and then triple supports with today's activity. Whoops. I think they're kind of useful learnings. So where do we go from here? I'm just waiting and seeing, but just I'm bearing in mind this is kind of a little bit of a complex correction back in to this zone in the 40s. Where we had a lot of trouble last time. We kind of fell off from there, so we haven't had an exhaustion pattern on the way down, so wouldn't surprise me if we kind of drop off. And if what have we got FOMC I think coming out, notes coming out tomorrow, so there's going to be some of that kind of jiggery pokery going on. Anyway, hope your trading is going well. Just gone long 25.50, long 25.50, just checking stops and targets, and the reason for going long, we just had blue professional down bars come in just after the open, held this. We had a little bit of an exhaustion pattern on the 500 tip bar chart. Bullish divergence comes in, and this little U-turn here in blue professional bars, and this little spike down. So we're going for a little bit of a run. So support's just coming on 1500. That was that little sequence. So it's got resistance here on 4500. This is kind of the overnight activity. It just fell out. So Asian markets are really weak. We've still got to work out this downward energy. So I'll put in resistance here. So we'll get a break into a trend move. Friday's activity, pullback, end of trend. Very weak selling. So around this low, we obviously bounced twice, once at the end of trend and once at the Rambo patterns, and now we're taking off. So we're going for a break above resistance. Here we go. Wow. Jeez. Finally some activity, some bit of a jump. Just going to leave my target at 29.50, see if we can get a one shot, one kill out of this. Alright, we just hit 29, just leave my target at 29.50. Okay, blue professional bar's just starting to come in. So let's get taken out. It's 10,000 exhaustion type reading. We'll have a processing exit from that. So let's hope for 9.5s. Come on, just take us out. The reason I just want a one shot, one kill, but at some point we've got to play down this kind of downward energy. So we'll come off this a little bit at some point. Still going to make pullback end of trend on 500. Another blue professional bar. Come on. Bingo, just taken out. 29.50. Excellent. 4 points. One shot, one kill. Was that 8:40 a.m.? Fantastic. Well, makes a change. All the trading I was doing last week took forever, and even the week before then was pretty slow. So finally we got a little bit of range and volatility. Okay, just got long 25.75. Long 25.75. Just a small problem. Starting the recording. Things aren't quite lined up. Anyway, so why are we getting long? We're getting long because we had pullback to end of trend, syncing up with cyclical support on 45. So a trend move, syncing up with a cyclical move on the higher time frame, and we got another support here on 1500. So down here at 24s, triple, bang, bang, bang. And I was just waiting for a blue professional bar to pop up to give me some kind of confidence, and it came in on the retrace there. So that was the reason to get long. And now we've got some more blue professional bars coming in on the retrace after we got resistance. They weren't happening on the way up, so hopefully we need them taken out now shortly, above 27.5, to show that the professionals are buying that little dip. So come on, here we go. The blue professional bars coming on 1500, got resistance here. So we've got a triple support, kind of holding all these time frames, and now we've got a double resistance here that a break above those will take us into a trend move above 28. So back to entry. Amateur down bar. This is traveling a little bit further past blue professional bars than I normally like. Yeah. Come on, bounce. Alright, here we go. Bounce back up 26s. So a bit of an exhaustion pattern here on 500. So pre the open we had one and kind of bullish divergence, although it didn't signal bullish divergence. Blue professional bar down here, that was at 23.75. Come back in, another kind of exhaustion pattern, so getting rid of sellers. So now above this resistance is kind of key, above 27.5, something like that, to take us into a trend move. So having a bit of a wide consolidation. Yeah, packed entry, come on. Phew. Well, third time we come down and make a flush pattern. So flushing out the last of the sellers. So we got exhaustion, bullish divergence flush. I've just noticed this level I'm in at 25.75 is almost exactly the same as yesterday's trade, which was a nice little one shot, one kill yesterday on this little U-turn blue professional bars. So same level, different pattern this time around. Blue professional bars pre-open, testing with amateur down bars, and we're still looking for this break above this resistance here, and amateur bars. So it's just weakening and weakening. Come on, just weak punches. We need to be taken through here kind of decisively. So let's see if we get a blue professional bar coming up through 27s with a jumping the creek type thing, and again coming down again, pushing down, bang bang bang, Alright, finally we got the break and a blue professional bar taking us through those highs. So this is our jump in the creek. My target's at 29.75. We're at 28. Alright, I'm just going to leave it there. Just want another one shot, one kill. Blue professional bars here. So it's just neutral at 0 on 1500. This has got to go to a trending move. Come on. Bingo! Just taken out, 29.75. Excellent. For 4. Well, took a little bit of going. 8:52 AM. Excellent. Another one shot, one kill. And just as blue professional bars coming out on 4,500. So a little bit of serious kind of professional activity here when you see one of these. Another exhaustion pattern here on 500. Let's see what goes on. It's not a pullback to end of trend yet or anything like that, Rambo. So weak. Don't know where it's going to go today. Longer time frame tip bar charts do have kind of supports happening everywhere. Pullback to end of trend, we're going on the 40,500 tip bar chart, but that's good. Me done. So it's nice. Finally, a little bit of range and volatility come back Monday and Tuesday. Good stuff.